Welcome back into another episode of Lynx Unleashed, the official podcast of the Minnesota Lynx. Wendell Epps joined alongside former Minnesota Lynx player and now current associate head coach of the Minnesota Lynx, Katie Smith. Coach, thank you so much for hopping on with us.
I'm glad to.
She was a two-time WNBA champion.
The founding member of the 5,000-point club. She's won a scoring title, gold medals.
She was voted one of the top 15 players in the history of the WNBA.
Katie Smith continues to write the books of history in women's professional basketball.
Well, obviously, you've had such a storied career in the WNBA, but I got to ask you, Coach, first thing first, how did you fall in love with the game of basketball? Can you share us that story?
You know what? I'm always kind of an active kid, right? So always was outside playing sports, but I truly, I started out in 5th grade playing on an all-boys team. That's just kind of the way it was back then. And, I was playing with all my buddies. And it's, I love I think all the aspects. I played volleyball, I did track, I did, you're in everything. But I think what I love most was it has a physicalness to it, the athleticism, coordination, but then there's like the skill set of shooting, dribbling, defensively. And then it's the thinking as well, like kind of the trying to win possessions and figuring out how, kind of how to take advantage. So like all those parts, like made me fall in love with it more than maybe volleyball and the others. I loved it, but this just had all the dynamics that always kept you kind of engaged. And I just thought it was super hard. And I loved it. I loved it from the jump.
A lot of competitive nature. Basketball brings a lot of fun with that and energy. Well, walk me through when you first came into the WNBA. I mean, obviously it's a different time now being a rookie, but what was it like being a rookie back then when you first came into the W?
Yeah, so it was a little different for me because I wasn't truly a rookie. I went and played in the ABL first. So the ABL and the WNBA both started right after the 1996 Olympics, where they, obviously those two leagues created, which was phenomenal. So I went to the Columbus Quest for 2 years, and then we went bankrupt, and all of us were coming over to the W. So when there was a little bit of the CBA and the current players in the W trying to keep out a certain number of us, and we also had conversations about, are you a rookie, are you not, rookie salary, but you're not a rookie. So some of those details had to be worked out. And again, everybody's trying to keep jobs, not a lot of teams. So I didn't get drafted. So I'm not a draft pick. I didn't have any of those, numbers. I got allocated to Minnesota. So I got picked by the team. So that's kind of how I ended up here.
Katie Smith on the drive as we turn to the action here, and the first bucket of the ball game for Minnesota.
And the first bucket of her WNBA career for Katie Smith.
Brian Agler, who coached me in the ABL, was the coach here at that time. So it was awesome. Like, again, being in the W, playing professional basketball was not something that existed when I was growing up. Right. I wanted to be an Olympian. I wanted to, go to college. Once, I got some letters. And basically my senior year was 1996. That's when the league started. That's the first time that I thought I would be able to be a professional, like play in the States. Other than that, I was like, all right, I'll go overseas, do what I need to do to be in the Olympics, continue to play, and then I'll move on, go back to school, do what I got to do. Find get a real job. That's what I always joke my dad. Yeah. But again, so 96, so part of it's the timing. I just think right after, senior year, done with college, here comes 2 leagues. And it's like, what? Yeah. I play basketball and I get paid for it? You know what I mean?
Dream
it's
job
like,
right there.
Why not?
Exactly.
Like, let's do it and see. And again, had no idea I'd play, 17 years and still be coaching, and it'd be basically a part of my life in all aspects of it. So it really is wild to look back because it was not in my mind at all until I was, 20-some years old.
Yeah, it was just perfect timing for you and getting in with the Minnesota Lynx as a player. Now here you are as a coach. I'm curious, when you ended your playing career, what made you want to get into coaching? Because everyone kind of has their own little different motivations, but what was your personal motivation?
Yeah, so you'll talk to a few people saying I always said I didn't want to coach. And it isn't... It's not necessarily I don't love the game and didn't want to do it. It was more like the lifestyle. Like, you've been sacrificing the travel, being away, missing things. It's just like that life of like, it's not your own. It was more like, I don't want to do this anymore. I've been doing it for so long. I'll do something else. I actually went and got my master's when I was finishing playing in medical dietetics. So literally last two years I was playing. And I was just like, well, let me get something just in case I figured out what I'm going to do. But Bill Lambier, basically my last year playing, asked me to come play in New York and said, after this season, then you can move over to the coaching side. And I was like, all right. It was partly didn't have plans, partly maybe always had an idea that I didn't really want to be outside of basketball. You know what I mean? I don't know if that was like that subconscious like thought process, but there was nothing like kind of concretely lined up. So I was like, okay, I'll do it. And so after my last year playing, moved over and just love being a part of it. Still love, being around the game. It's way harder than playing. Like you have to manage so much more, the prep, managing more people, conversations, all of that. But it's also fun because you're still game playing. You're still strategy. You're still being around players and helping them have the best journeys that they can. It's never really about you, but it's fun to see them hopefully have the same experience that you did and get the joy out of it that you did. And no matter wins, losses, whatever, but just like they're living their dreams and you want to be a positive part of that.
Yeah, you still get to feel that rush too of getting ready for these big games and things like that. I know recently, of course, winning the Commissioner's Cup championship. Walk me through that night. What was it like getting ready for that game and the aftermath of the celebration? How did it feel?
It was fun. Again, the Commissioner Cup is kind of new, and the format this year was new. These games counted towards it. Last year was a little hard to track kind of the process. But yeah, we're in it. We're like, why not? And, obviously each game up until the Commissioner's Cup it's just, again, you're prepping for the next game and you want to get as many wins as possible. You're trying to win every game. And that's really our mindset. But that night, it's like, why not? Like we've put ourselves in this position.
Right.
And I laugh because I'm like, if I was a player and you said, hey, if you play a game, you win, you get 35 or 30K. Heck yeah, sign me up. Let's go.
Yeah,
Like, let's play.
Yeah,
like, I'll take that money.
Exactly.
Like, right. I said, let's play for that. So I'm like, why not? So the players were, we prepped the same way, but it was more like, why not? Let's go out there and just let it all out and play your butts off and then, be able to win a little something off of it. But to have that type of celebration, it's been a minute for me outside of maybe USA basketball in the World Cup. But the championship, my last one was in Detroit in 2008. And there's just nothing like that, that moment, that bond that you kind of get with your team, winning teams have, and then, a little champagne stuff. I mean, all this stuff. So it was like a mini championship celebration because it's Commissioner's Cup. It's not the real deal that we'd love to be a part of at the end. But yeah, it brought back a lot of memories and kind of like that itch to want more.
Exactly.
Because they don't come often. It's really hard to come by. So it's you kind of soak up the moments that you have in those times.
Yeah, special moment you have to cherish. And it's so fitting you guys were able to win it, especially coming into this season. I mean, it just seems like every year after year, you guys as a team are underrated. And that was something that I was trying to figure out at the beginning of the season because it's like so much talent. I mean, we have an MVP caliber player in Nafisa Collier, a very solid player in Caitlin McBride, who's now officially named an All-Star, Courtney Williams, Alana Smith being added, and here you guys are winning that Commissioner's Cup championship after being ranked number 9 in those preseason power rankings. I mean, you're around this team every day. What about this year's Lynx roster makes them so special?
It's the group, obviously individual talent, like the pieces we added, the pieces we have, but there's just a connectedness by them that they care about each other and they want to do what's asked and they want to do their jobs. They want to do it really well and they want to do it together. And there's a great energy too, like just from starters to the bench to anybody. It's just like such a good group that truly I think really cares about what they're doing and who they're doing it with. But yeah, the talent. No, do we have the big names? No. And even Fee, as much as she does, like her name doesn't resonate necessarily like Stewie and then, the rookies and whatnot. But I guess that's something at Minnesota, like Sylvia. I mean, the numbers she put up, but always kind of like that steady that never totally got like that, the billboard type acknowledgement, and I probably feel the same way of what I did and just like was never, it's just like Katie Smith, like a generic name or whatever, but you do your job. And you do it the right way, and I appreciate, and that's I think all of us in the coaching staff and them, they do it the right way, they treat each other well, and they compete, and we do. We have enough pieces to be dangerous, to be able to win any game. It's a long season. You have to be consistent. You get your little ups and downs and win ugly, but this group is really locked in and truly tries to do what's asked. every single day.
Yeah, that chemistry is definitely real. I sense that right away this season. You can just see it even when we're on the road. This group is very tight and close with one another. As far as your coaching style goes, how was it adapting to creating a coaching style? How would you describe the way you coach? Has it evolved over the years? And what have you learned most about being a coach?
It's true. Initially, it wasn't hard, right? It wasn't about, again, it's partly like you take yourself out. You're done playing. So it isn't like, hey, this is how I did it. It never really was. It wasn't really my MO. It was more like, all right, this is what I see. Now, if there's moments where you can tell a story of this is like, hey, when I struggled, I did this. But most of it's like, what do I need to tell you? It's not like, oh, I did this, because players they don't really care about what they may, but most of them don't want to.
I don't care what you did back in 2003.
What? Like, I wasn't even born. So it was pretty easy in that sense, in the prep, thinking the game, like what offenses may work, how to guard people. Like you're really just kind of leaning on some of the experiences you had as a player. And then you're watching film and seeing how other teams play and what successes they have. So again, you're studying. It's like you're prepping and studying for tests and thinking about the game plan. It's kind of the same way when I was a player. You kind of go into a game. This is how they're guarding it. This is the things we can do. This matchup is, we have the advantage. You got to figure out all of it.
Hey, get to our spots, all right, and take advantage of it. Clean it up. Let's flow a little bit better. Let's go. We got to run harder, though. We got to run harder.
As an assistant, it's different. Like you're not the decision maker all the time. You're giving information, you're suggesting. Head coaches don't want you just to come in and be like, you lead the conversation. Throw stuff out, have ideas. Then it's good to have banter amongst us all. Like, no, I don't really like that, and this is why. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then you get down and really nail it down to what you want to do.
Exactly.
And then you get to make adjustments in the game. So again, it's just, I think, being on both sides, you just learn kind of what's needed. Coming here with Reeve, just just up a notch. Like, just took it up like 3 or 4 levels of how to prep, details, practice, communication. Like this, truly is the best in the business. And being here has just elevated everything I've done and learned, and it's just been so much fun because every day you're challenged. Everything's about helping the players become their best selves, and then ultimately, if they do that, then as a team, we're going to be elevated.
Yeah, exactly. There's so many different personalities. Every player has their own tactics, and you got to just be adaptable the way you coach different players. So, that's awesome. How has it been? Like, you touched there a little bit on Cheryl and working under her, now getting the chance for a couple seasons. One of the most storied coaches in WNBA history, has done so much success. What is it like working under Cheryl Reeve?
It's fun because I obviously, all of us have a history with Reeve. Like, I played in Detroit under Cheryl when she was an assistant under Bill and Rick Mahorn. She worked with, had a great relationship there, was a friend. It's a friend on top of a mentor. It was a blast. So she's over here doing her thing. I'm over doing my thing. But ultimately, Minnesota leaving here, I got traded. Loved my time here. Loved the fans. Loved everything. Obviously, just, basketball takes you different places. Always kept those relationships, and just hopefully my time here was, I always valued it. You know what I mean? I tried to treat people well and, just enjoy the moments that I have. And then, when I ended up, New York and not being renewed as the New York head coach, Reeve reached out and was just like, if this is someplace where you want to be, like, let's do it. And I was like, all right. And it's been phenomenal because not only is it somebody you respect in the field who's truly the best in the business, but it's also someone you have a relationship with, and
exactly.
So there's a comfort and a trust.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Chemistry's been there. You want to enjoy your work every day, so I love that. Well, last question for you, Coach, before we get into our final segment. Obviously, now having coached for a couple years, and you keep seeing more and more draft classes come in, and now you're really inspiring the next generation of basketball players, on the women's side, which I know has to feel great. Just how excited are you to continue to be able to do that and to be able to be part, I know you touched on earlier, just being able to be part of their successes and teach them different things about what you learned in your time in the W, be able to help their game grow. But just how excited are you for the growth of women's basketball, because we know more attention is just coming day in and day out for this league?
It's awesome. It's for somebody who's been in it, and even those that are prior to me, I'm a Title IX, baby, just in a sense of all these opportunities came to me because of so many women before who, were doing, and asking and demanding. And now these guys are reaping the benefits and probably don't even know enough about what has happened. So part of our journey is obviously to continue to promote and make sure they're good. But it's also, we're here as a reminder of where you've come from, what you need. Don't take a backseat, continue to push. But it's phenomenal to see these players and these women have a voice and not sit back and not be quiet. And, because it used to be, well, don't say anything. And now it's like, man, you guys are rock stars. Like, go, like, do this. So we're, it's so awesome because it's a game I love. And that's why I love coaching. That's why I like being a part of it, is because I'm like, if I'm a good teacher, if I'm a good coach, like, I want to be in a women's game, because this is mine. You know what I mean? I want to be a part of this and help it grow in whatever way, on, off, and all the things. So it's just so much fun to be a part of it and continue for these guys to just own it and do their part, and they value what they're doing and understand just how important they are. The game is awesome. I'm just glad more eyes are on it, because there's been, ballers from before my time on. And now it's just fun to have people really recognize what these ladies are doing.
Lots to be excited about for the future. That's no doubt about that. All right, Coach, so we're going to end this episode the way we've been doing with the players. We end it with a little rapid fire. So you ready? You up
get
for
my brain,
get the brain ready, get warmed up. All
Here
right, let's do it. All right, if you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Probably a mind reader.
What's one food you can't live without?
Pizza.
Okay.
Because you can do anything with it.
It's
I can have a healthy pizza, or I could just go, I like pepperoni. Really
you New York pizza? Chicago deep dish?
I like the New York pizza.
New York pizza.
Definitely.
Nice. What's your favorite sports movie of all time?
Oh, shoot. I don't know. Hoosiers.
Describe your coaching style using just one word.
That's hard. Unpredictable. You can ask the players.
Yeah.
It's like real quiet and chill, and all of a sudden it's like turned up.
Yeah.
And it's like, where'd that come from?
Right.
So I don't know. That may not.
If you had to compete in a talent show, what would be your talent?
Oh my gosh, I don't have any. Maybe a joke teller.
Growing up, who was your favorite player, basketball-wise, athlete?
It was Jordan was mine, and James Worthy, because obviously NBA was on. But I did have Carolyn Mass from Ohio University was a player that we would go down to OU and watch games. So those were some of mine that I had in my locker in gym class and stuff.
Nice. What's your favorite genre of music?
Hip hop.
What are some of your favorite interests outside of basketball?
I like to cook. I like to be outside with my dog.
Okay.
And hanging out with fam.
Yeah, love it. And last question for you, Coach. What's one fun fact a lot of people don't know about Katie Smith? No pressure. Yeah.
Well, I used to be in 4-H.
Okay.
You can look up I'm sure there's some pictures running around. And
they'll find something.
Yeah, there you go.
Very cool. All right, Coach. Well, we really appreciate you for coming on the podcast today. Great hearing more about your story, your journey as a coach, and obviously great season. I know you, Cheryl, entire coach staff doing some great work, so just keep it up. Again, thank you for coming on.
I appreciate you guys.